Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sharon and this is Classy Shades Designs.
So for today's Tumbler Tuesday, I'm going to show you how to apply chunky glitter using T-Glitz Sailor Uranus. I've already applied my epoxy and right now I'm just popping the micro bubbles, and I've taped off the top and the bottom so that the stainless steel can continue to show through. When you're applying these chunky glitters, you want to make sure that you have a nice layer of epoxy as your base. You don't want too much, but you will need enough so that the chunky glitter can, the epoxy can grab the glitter and hold it onto it, because you want to get your chunky glitter to lay as flat as possible. That's the secret to not having to do a lot of sanding, is making sure that you have the right amount of epoxy and get the glitter to lay flat. Once you've completely covered your entire tumbler, then you come in with your gloved hands and you actually just start patting all the glitter down. You can look at it from a side view and you can see where you need to touch and pat down. Just touch it lightly though, because you don't want to take the glitter off. Once I allow this to spin overnight and get completely dry, I'll come in with a flood coat of epoxy and just cover the entire thing to make it a smooth epoxy cup over the original glitter. And this is what it looks like after the flood coat, and I think it is beautiful. Working with chunky does not have to be hard. Now, I've shown you the Uranus, but here is the entire Sailor collection that T-Glitz offers. And again, I'll leave that information down below. If you're interested in any of her glitters, you can, of course, go look for it there. Now, next for this video, let's make some of these cute little keychains. I saw these somewhere else and I just fell in love with them and thought I've got to try it. And I'm going to use these two color of alcohol inks. One is called Sailboat and the other one is Santa Fe Red by Pinata. I'll leave links for these where you can find those actually on my website down below. So using the sea salt, which will work as our ice for the slushy, I'm going to put a little bit of sea salt into here and you can kind of see what I'm using. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I found out that I needed more salt than what I actually put in there. I was thinking that I could be conservative and not have to use quite a lot. So if you're going to do this, I would probably check the dollar store or somewhere that you can get a really coarse sea salt, because you need it to be a thick sea salt to actually look like a slushy. I'd see if I can find it somewhere cheap. And I just went ahead and stirred it all up. And since I don't need the entire stick, I'm just going to break my stick in half and use it for the other color. Now let's put a little bit of the sea salt in here and do the same thing for the blue. And I just repeat those same steps. So this should look like, if we do this right, it should look like a blue slushy, which is that blueberry flavor, and a cherry slushy. And I can clearly see here that I don't think I have enough salt in this one either. So we'll probably have to add a little bit additional salt. But let's go ahead and add the epoxy and see what that, how that works. Well, here's another tip for you guys. You don't need a whole lot of epoxy. Look at how much epoxy I put in there, and it is definitely a watered down slushy. So I'm definitely going to need to add some more salt to this to help break that down. And I guess I should, yeah, it's just too much epoxy. I put way too much. So if you guys decide to do this, you only need a little bit. And here's the tip. Add a little at a time, because you can always add more epoxy, but you can't take it out. So here what I'm going to do is go ahead and dip out the salt that I have, and then I'll add some more salt to it to make it less liquidy. So I'll just mix it into this little container here. This is sad, but we're trying it. It's an error. You guys get to see me making an error, and so I'm okay with that, because we'll make this work. I promise we can make this work. Just adding a little bit of salt into the container, and then I'll put some of the mixture on top of it, and then just stir that around inside of my little cup here. Okay, I finally have the consistency and the color that I want, but again, I didn't have enough salt in it. This one took a lot of salt only because I put in way too much epoxy. But I actually, at the end of it, I became a little happy with it because, as you can see, using the lighter color salt mixture that I put together actually makes it look like the you know, when you get one of these slushies, like the top of it is kind of white, not as dark as the bottom, or all the flavor and syrup has sunk to the bottom. So that's what it looks like to me here. Now what I want to do now is just kind of make it a little mound and mound up the slushy, air quotes, so that it will look like a slushy from the side. This is messy, you guys, so you're going to need your gloves. You're going to need to be working on something because, as you can see, I'm just making a big mess, but it's working out. Now I've learned from that one. Let's try the red, and I'm just going to put in a little bit. Just a little bit will go a long way. I learned the hard way that it doesn't take a whole lot. And we'll do the exact same process with this one. Get it stirred up really well, add some more salt to it, and pour it into our cup. I didn't realize that these little cups take so much salt, but it's fun. This is fun, and this is going to be so cute. When I get done, I'm going to put logos on it, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. And here it is where I'm just going to go ahead and mound this up again to make it a mountain so that it looks like an actual slushy came out of the slushy machine. As a kid, we used to, go to the 7-Eleven and order these all the time, and they were always so yummy and so good. So this is kind of cool. It'll be fun to have these as keychains. But that's what it looks like from the top, and there's a side view of it. You can kind of see how I mounted everything up there. And I will use my E6000 and glue the lid down to it, and here's what they look like. So I made one at Starbucks, and there's my blue little slushy you saw me make. I drilled a hole in the lid and put a straw in there. I did a couple of other ones, and then of course I did a frozen Coke, which was fun too. My daughter took the red one before I could even get it posted. But I hope you enjoyed these videos. If you have any questions, leave me comments down below. And again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in our next video. But until then, stay classy.